And welcome back to the football rundown here. We're back with the match preview today. Stockport County take on Brackley Town in the FA Cup second round at Edgeley Park this upcoming Saturday. Very much looking forward to that game, to be honest. It's a game which really on paper we should be looking to win. No disrespect to Brackley Town, but they're a National League North side. Stockport County are in League One and flying high in League One at the moment. To be honest, with 3 wins from 3 in the league over the last couple of weeks, it's been a lot better for Stockport County over recent weeks. Possibly going back to basics has helped them as well a little bit. I think we spoke about it, with Rydell, Southam Hales, Penn Hinchliffe coming back between the sticks as well. A bit more familiarity. I think that's helped things. I think it's helped us steady the ship a little bit, and I think results and performances have been a lot better. And you'd expect that to go into the game on Saturday as well against Brackley Town, who have made a decent start to the season in their own league as well. I think they're currently 8th in the table. But before we get into the preview where we'll be talking about Stockport County and Brackley Town, we're going to quickly go and talk about a little bit of transfer news actually. Obviously the window opens in January, we're approaching December now, so we're not far away from it. I'm not going to go into it too much, I don't know how credible it is, but it's a rumour which has come off Twitter or X, so take it with very much a pinch of salt. But it's come from Iceland, and I don't mean the shop. To say that there's a player that potentially Stockport County could be signing or could be looking at signing in January, and it comes from an account which I can't pronounce the name of, but he asks earlier in the week, any truth in the news that Stockport County are signing Icelandic goal scoring sensation Breki Andrésson, I think that's how you say it. And then he also goes on to say, according to Icelandic media, Stockport County have beaten off competition from Sunderland, Mainz, Getafe, Heerenveen, Utrecht, AZ Alkmaar, for the signature of the 19-year-old goal-scoring sensation Breki Andrésson. And then he's also said as well, a couple of days after that, to say, to Stockport supporters, that Breki has always been highly rated. Bologna signed him as a 15-year-old, and he was part of the under-17s Bologna team, which became national champions in 2022. That year, he also scored 3 goals in 7 matches for the under-18s and came back last year. So he's part of the Iceland under-21s, I gather, at this point in time. And he's playing in Iceland, I think, at this point in time. So there's a young striker which has got some promising goal-scoring stats behind him by all accounts. Has obviously been at Bologna, which is a top team in Italy, or top-tier team in Italy at least. It's an interesting one. It's one to keep an eye on. There could be something to that. And I believe that, if this interest is genuine, it can only be because Stockport County are anticipating there will be movement with Louis Barry, of course, who has started the season in phenomenal fashion, scoring goals for fun, scoring fantastic goals for fun. I think he's on, 13 goals in 17 League One appearances so far this season. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's something close to that. It's ridiculous, at least, his goal-scoring form this season. And like I said, it's even better than what he did last season, which was unbelievable. Obviously, his injury, cut his season short, but still, it's great that he's doing as well as he's doing, and that will, inevitably create a conversation about whether or not he'll go back to Aston Villa in January. Of course, he did sign a new deal before he came back on loan to us in the summer. There are conversations about whether or not Aston Villa might look at selling him in January. Would they bring him back to sell him? Would they bring him back to loan him out to a Championship side? I'm not too sure what the logic would be on that, to be honest. My belief, and I think what will happen is, I think he will see out the season with Stockport County. I can't see why Aston Villa would look to change that situation unless they were offered a huge amount of money to sell him in January, and it's got to be something above 10 million, which I can't see happening. Obviously, there was that rumour about Spurs and Leicester last week, but I can't see too much happening with that. So I do think we'll have Lou Barry for the rest of the season. I think that would stand us in good stead. I've said before as well, what can Stockport County achieve this season if Louis Barry stays for the remainder of it? And I actually think he could help us get promoted, if I'm being honest. If he can stay fit all season, stay injury-free, continue a similar form to what he's in at the moment, I can't see why County can't get playoffs or even automatics. And, I'm not trying to get carried away with myself, but you've got a player scoring that many goals, scoring fantastic goals as well. At some point in the season, he's got to have a dip in form. But at the moment, and like I said, it's if he sticks to the form he's on at the moment. I do think County will get promoted. Obviously, I'm not saying County will get promoted. I do expect to have a dip in form. But if he continues this form, is what I'm saying, I think County would see promotion. So very interesting on that one. As I say, hopefully Louis Barry doesn't go. I can't see it happening. But I do think that Stockport County will be thinking ahead now, and not just about January, but beyond January. You know, if County stay in League One this season, next season, if County do somehow end up in the Championship next season, they've got to have a replacement for Louis Barry, because there's no way we're going to be able to afford to buy him next summer, or it's very, very unlikely that they would loan us back out, him back to us again next season. So we have to think beyond this season now. It's been brilliant having Louis Barry. We probably will have him to the end of the season, but we need to start looking at someone else, and maybe this is what Stockport County are doing in regards to looking at this Icelandic striker. Again, we'll have to see if there's more, if there's anything in it, and I'm sure if there is, we'll hear about it more over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll see some movement in January, of course, where I do think we will do some business. I do think we need, I think we need to bring in a striker anyway. I still don't think we replace Paddy Madden in the summer, and I've said that multiple times. And I think that, Alafi's not started season fit. Michael Mellon's just injured all the time. I think he's got to go back in January. So we're looking a little bit light up front. And Louis Barry's not actually an out-and-out striker. He's scoring goals from the left. So I do think we need a centre-forward anyway. And be interested to see what County do in the window in January, where, of course, we will have the third round in January. Should Stockport County be going through to the next round against Brackley Town. Of course, it is Brackley, which are the team that are in front of us at the moment, potentially stopping us from getting a potential Premier League tie if we go around to the third round, if we go through to the third round. So, Brackley Town is the opponents this weekend at Edgeley Park. It's another game at Edgeley Park in what feels like we only play at Edgeley Park at the moment, besides the away game at Burton last week, which was a fantastic away day, by the way, and thanks to everyone who watched the vlog and enjoyed it. Brackley Town then 8th in the National League North. They come into this fixture on the back of a 1-0 win over Rushall Olympic. Brackley had not played since November the 17th after their two most recent fixtures were postponed, meaning their last outing before this week ended in a defeat when they faced #United in the FA Trophy second round, which is, of course, a competition for teams in the non-league. I don't know too much about, I don't know anything about Brackley's team, to be honest with you. But one name when looking at the team sheets that did stand out to me was Scott Pollock. He might be familiar to some potentially younger County fans, as he came through #United's Academy Series back in 2017. The 23-year-old has since had spells at Northampton, Boston and Yeovil before signing for the Saints in June. So Scott Pollock is a player which could be one to keep an eye on. I'm aware of the name because I am a slightly younger fan, and therefore do remember seeing teams like #United rise through, obviously initially through YouTube. So I'm familiar with the name. I've seen that he's played for teams like Northampton. How good of a player is he? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Because it's one thing being a good player in an academy team, for a YouTube team which was up and coming at the time. It's another thing mixing it in, the National League, the National League North, and obviously he's played for Northampton as well. So he could be a player to keep an eye on. He's certainly the only player that I recognise just from looking at the team. So that's interesting, that one. And of course, he did play against # a couple of weeks ago, where they were defeated. So Brackley are also undefeated in each of their last 6 meetings against Stockport County. This is a thing, actually, because obviously I'm someone who's newer to sort of following County, but I've always heard this thing about Brackley. We don't want to play Brackley, and I've always gone, why specifically Brackley? Because what's the difference between them and any other team in the non-league? Well, Brackley are undefeated in each of the last 6 meetings against Stockport County, winning on 4 occasions. So that answers the question, doesn't it? They're a bit of a bogey team in the past for Stockport County. They've had 4 wins from the last 6 meetings against us, typically by just the 1 goal as well. County's last win over Brackley came in January 2017 when the Hatters put 3 past Brackley away from home, with goals from Courtney Mepham Walter with 2 and Kane Felix, I think it is, with the 3rd and final goal that day for Stockport County in a 3-0 win at the end of January 2017 against Brackley Town. So that's an interesting one. Like I say, obviously we've not played them for a very long time, and therefore the fact that the record against them isn't great it's more of a psychological thing than it is actually going to mean anything in the game, because Stockport County on Saturday is a very different Stockport County from the team that Brackley would have faced many years ago now. So I think we're looking at it. This is a new Stockport County. It's a different Stockport County. It's a team which has had money pumped into it. It's a team that's had has got ambition. It's a team that it's a club that has gone up the leagues, and therefore, there won't be many players that will be part of this team now that will remember playing the teams like Brackley. Potentially, Ben Hinchliffe will be one of those, but I don't think he'll be in goal this weekend. Southam Hales, I think, signed after that. So, I don't know if there's really that many players that would be familiar with that fixture, to be honest, amongst the county players. It was certainly playing in the county shirt anyway, so it doesn't really mean too much, to be honest. That we're undefeated. Brackley are undefeated against us in the last 6. It's a psychological thing. It's the kind of thing which both fans will kind of play on. County will be nervous, or county fans will be nervous because it's it's Brackley. Brackley will be thinking, it's county, we might get a win if we're lucky because of that record. But it doesn't really mean too much. Like I say, different teams, different players, and I think we'll see a different team this weekend from what we've seen last weekend. I think there'll be a lot of changes going into the team news aspect of it. Of course, as always, I always go with what I think will be the predicted 11 from Dave Challoner, and then what I would pick. And very rarely is there that many changes. And of course, now that I think we're settled on the 3 at the back, I think we will go with a 3 at the back, and I think we should go with a 3 at the back because I think we've adapted a lot more to it than we had done initially. So I do think he'll go with Corey Adai in goal. Obviously, it appears he's the cup goalkeeper now. He's got to do well to try and get his place back in the league position in between the sticks. I do think, also this is a thing as well. So Fraser Horsfall picked up a yellow card against Burton. A lot of people are now saying he'll miss the Birmingham game because of that. So I thought that he could have possibly used the cup game as the game to use that yellow card for, but apparently the rules have changed on that actually a long time ago, and I wasn't aware of that. So if that's correct, then Horsfall won't play against Birmingham, so therefore he will be in the team this week against Brackley. So therefore that's gone into my logic on what I think Challoner will pick. I think he'll go with a back 3. Sam Hughes will have to come in. He'll be replacing Horsfall in the game against Birmingham, I'd expect. So I think he'll go with a back 3 of Hughes, Horsfall and Ethan Pye. I think he'll go with Southam Hales and Ryan Rydell as the 2 wing-backs. Though we could change it up. There is a Tyler Adaramola, but I'm not sure what's happened with him over recent weeks. There is, of course, Jay Mingy, who came back, and I imagine he's back for, back available to be picked, but I don't think he was on the bench last week either. So I do think he'll go with those 2, but they could change because I'm not too sure what the availability is of the other wing backs. But I think he'll go with Rydell and Southam Hales. I think he'll keep with Lewis Bate just because of how well he's been playing. Though he'll look to take him off early on in the game, early in the second half if we're in a comfortable lead. I think he'll bring in Callum Camps for his first start. He came off the bench against Burton. I think he'll get his first start again. A little bit out of Lewis Bate. Try and take him off if we're comfortable in the game early in the second half. I think he'll start Odin Bailey, who I think's in need of minutes, and then I think he'll go with that front 2 of Cal Wotton and Tanto Alafi, giving Louis Barry a week off or a day off, I suppose. I think that's what he'll go with. I think I'd pretty much go with the same kind of team. Actually, no, man's fairly different. It's a different back 3. It's Hughes, it's Horsfall, it's Ibi Toure, that left-sided centre-back. And then I've gone with Jack Diamond and Jaden Fevrier on both flanks as well, with Callum Camps and Lewis Fiorini in central midfield with Odin Bailey just ahead. And I've gone with the same front 2 partnership, as I think Tanto needs minutes in him. I think he needs to get those legs running, and he's not going to get that in the league. So I think he needs that. This is his opportunity. And of course, I think we'll play with 2 up front because that's what we have been playing with. Therefore, I think Woodson will play, and Louis Barry will have a week or a day off. I don't know if he'll be even involved in the squad because I don't think he was against Forest Green. So it'll be an interesting one to see if Louis Barry's on the bench. I don't think he'll play. I'd be stunned if he played. If he started. And that's the team that I would go with. It's also the team which I think Challoner will go with. So yeah, I want to get people's thoughts on it in terms of team selection. Who would you expect to play? Who would you be shocked or surprised to see start the game? What are your thoughts on this new signing as well, or potential signing from Stockport County? It's interesting that we seem to be looking at players overseas. Does that show that now that we're in League One, we're sort of widening our scouting range? Not sure, but it's interesting that it's one of those where it's so random that there must be something to it. So one to keep an eye on. Want to get your thoughts on it. What do you think will happen with Louis Barry? Do you think he will move on in January? Do you think Aston Villa will bring him, but take him back? And do you think County will do much business in January? As I say, we are approaching the January transfer window in just over a month's time from now. But as I say, Brackley Town again. Saturday score prediction. It's so hard because you don't want to disrespect a lower league opposition, and also look at Aldershot last season. So we have to be. We can't get carried away. We can't think, oh look, it's League One against National League North. We should absolutely batter them. We should absolutely batter them, but we know how football works, and sometimes it doesn't go how it should. I do think we will batter them. I will go with a 4-0 win for Stockport County. I went with 3-0 against Burton, and I was right. I'm going with 4-0 this week, and let's see if I'm right. Of course, the match vlog as well, I will be going on Saturday, so the match vlog will be out shortly after the game, hopefully. So, yeah, want to get your thoughts on Louis Barry situation, the team selection for the weekend, score prediction as well, and of course, the thoughts on that potential Icelandic striker who has actually been branded the Icelandic Haaland. One to keep an eye on, as I say. So do get your thoughts in the comment section below. Do like the video as always. Do subscribe if you are new as well, as we're trying to reach 1,000 by the end of the year. And yeah, thanks for watching.